The front row of the Colosseum in ancient Rome was indeed a dangerous place to be during gladiator fights and encounters with wild animals such as lions. This iconic amphitheater, built between 70–80 AD, was a venue for various forms of entertainment, including brutal gladiatorial contests. The front row, commonly referred to as the podium, held great significance in Roman society. It was a reserved seating area exclusively for individuals of high social standing, such as senators, high-ranking officials, and members of the imperial family. This privileged seating arrangement symbolized their status and power within the community. However, despite the prestige associated with sitting in the front row, it also came with inherent risks. One of the primary concerns was security. The close proximity to the action made those seated in the podium vulnerable to potential threats or attacks from disgruntled citizens or political rivals. Additionally, sitting in such a prominent position meant being under constant scrutiny and pressure to maintain a certain image and demeanor. Any misstep or public display of dissatisfaction could be seen as a sign of weakness or disloyalty towards the ruling class. Furthermore, being so close to events like gladiatorial contests or chariot races exposed these elite individuals to dangerous situations. Accidents were not uncommon during these spectacles, and there were instances where spectators were injured or even killed by stray weapons or falling debris. Despite these risks, many influential Romans still chose to occupy the front row due to its social importance and proximity to power. It was considered a privilege that allowed them direct access to events that shaped Roman society, while simultaneously reaffirming their position at the top of the social hierarchy. In conclusion, while sitting in the front row offered prestige and access for influential individuals in Roman society, it also carried significant risks, such as security threats and potential accidents during events. Nonetheless, these hazards did not deter those seeking power and status from claiming their place at this coveted location. Gladiator fights were highly intense and often resulted in severe injuries or even death. The fighters engaged in combat armed with an array of weapons, such as swords, shields, and tridents. The close proximity of the front row meant that spectators could potentially become unintended targets during these intense battles. One aspect that added to the intensity of these fights was the close proximity between the fighters and the spectators. The front row seats provided an up-close view of the action, but also put spectators at risk of becoming unintended targets during these intense battles. With weapons swinging and projectiles flying through the air, it was not uncommon for stray blows or errant weapons to find their way into the crowd. To mitigate this risk to some extent, various measures were taken to separate the fighters from the audience. Protective barriers such as fences or nets were sometimes erected to create a physical barrier between them. Additionally, skilled guards known as retiarii patrolled around the arena perimeter to ensure spectator safety. Despite these precautions, accidents did happen and spectators occasionally found themselves caught in harm's way. This added an element of danger and excitement to gladiatorial spectacles, but also served as a stark reminder of how unpredictable and unforgiving these matches could be. In conclusion, gladiator fights were highly intense affairs that carried significant risks for both participants and spectators alike. The use of deadly weapons combined with close proximity meant that injuries or even death were not uncommon outcomes. While precautions were taken to protect audiences from harm, there was always an inherent element of danger associated with attending these thrilling yet perilous events. Chariot races were exhilarating events that captivated ancient audiences, but they also came with their fair share of dangers, especially for spectators seated in the front row. As chariots raced around the track at breakneck speeds, the potential for accidents and injuries was ever present. The sheer force and momentum of these racing vehicles could send them careening off course, putting nearby spectators at risk of being struck or trampled. Additionally, the chaos and excitement of the races often led to unruly behavior from both competitors and spectators alike, further increasing the likelihood of accidents occurring in proximity to the action. It was crucial for those sitting in the front row to exercise caution and be prepared for any unforeseen incidents that could arise during these thrilling but potentially perilous spectacles. When it comes to experiencing the grandeur of the Colosseum, sitting in the front row undeniably offers an unparalleled view. The Colosseum, located in Rome, Italy, is one of the most iconic and well-preserved ancient amphitheaters in the world. Built during the Roman Empire, it was primarily used for gladiatorial contests and other public spectacles. Choosing to sit in the front row allows visitors to be closest to the action and immerse themselves fully in the excitement of the events taking place. From this vantage point, spectators can witness every detail of the performances, from gladiators engaging in fierce battles to exotic animals being showcased for entertainment. Moreover, sitting in the front row provides an unobstructed view of not only what is happening inside the arena, but also offers a chance to appreciate architectural details up close. Visitors can marvel at the intricate craftsmanship and design elements that make this ancient structure so remarkable. However, it is important to note that while sitting in the front row may offer an extraordinary experience, it does come with its own considerations. The proximity to action means that those seated here may be exposed to more noise and potential debris from performances. Additionally, due to its popularity among tourists, securing tickets for these coveted seats may require advanced planning and reservation. The Colosseum, located in Rome, Italy, is a world-renowned ancient amphitheater that has captured the imagination of people for centuries. While it is widely known as a venue for gladiatorial battles and other spectacles, it may come as a surprise to some that even the emperor himself would make appearances at this grand structure. The Roman emperors held immense power and authority during their reigns, and their presence in the Colosseum was not only a symbol of their status, but also an opportunity to connect with the citizens of Rome. The emperors would often attend events such as gladiatorial games or mock naval battles where they would be seated in special areas designated for their use. These appearances served multiple purposes. Firstly, they allowed the emperors to demonstrate their support for this popular form of entertainment and showcase their wealth by treating the spectators to lavish displays. Secondly, being present in the Colosseum provided an opportunity for emperors to interact with the crowd and gain public favor through gestures such as distributing gifts or granting pardon to prisoners. However, it is important to note that while some emperors actively participated in these events by giving signals or making decisions regarding the fate of combatants, others preferred to maintain a more passive role as mere spectators. Nonetheless, regardless of how involved they were in the proceedings inside the Colosseum, their presence alone was enough to create a sense of awe and excitement among both participants and spectators alike. In conclusion, although primarily known for its gladiatorial fights and other forms of entertainment during ancient times, it's fascinating to discover that even the mighty Roman emperors themselves graced the halls of the Colosseum. Their presence added an extra layer of prestige and significance to this iconic structure while allowing them to connect with their subjects on various levels. Furthermore, in ancient spectacles and gladiatorial games, sitting in the front row posed an additional level of danger due to encounters with wild animals. Lions, in particular, were commonly used in these events and were renowned for their ferocity and unpredictability. The risk escalated when these powerful predators managed to break free from their restraints or attacked their handlers before reaching the gladiators. As a result, individuals seated in close proximity faced a serious threat to their safety. Despite these risks, being seated in the front row held great prestige among Roman society. It allowed individuals to showcase their wealth and power while experiencing firsthand the excitement and brutality of these spectacles. However, it also required them to accept the potential dangers that came with such close proximity to the action. In conclusion, sitting in the front row of the Colosseum during gladiator fights and encounters with lions was undeniably dangerous. Spectators faced potential harm from both combatants and wild animals alike. Nonetheless, this position provided a unique vantage point for witnessing one of ancient Rome's most thrilling forms of entertainment, while showcasing social status and influence. Sitting in the front row of the Colosseum during gladiator fights and encounters with lions was indeed a perilous experience. Spectators were exposed to potential dangers from both the combatants and the wild animals. However, despite these risks, occupying this position offered a remarkable perspective for witnessing one of ancient Rome's most exhilarating forms of entertainment. Furthermore, sitting in the front row also served as a symbol of social status and influence, showcasing one's prominence within society.